Now my question is, I've heard your ideas on climate change, and you have said you believe in it, you believe humans have an impact on it.
Yep.
What I want to know is, what can we do to get the rest of the Republican candidates, just because most of them have said no, they don't believe in it, or there's nothing we can do. So I want to know what we can do to convince them.
Sure. Look, the climate is changing. It is. I mean, the climate always changes. That's not a radical statement. That's just to me, that's just obvious. What impact humans have on that is uncertain. But clearly, in a world that now we have 5 billion people living in it, human interaction has some impact on the climate. I just don't think that's a radical idea either. Where it gets dangerous in my mind is then to say, how do we create the Paris Accord would be the wrong approach in my mind, where you have these command and control policies, goals that don't have any, they're not a treaty, so they're not, no one's bound to it. And the net effect is that you end up hollowing out the industrial core. Is that the proper way of dealing with climate change? Create less economic activity for people? And that's where I draw the line. Because I think we need high sustained economic growth. I think it's possible to balance our environmental concerns with high growth. High growth is what we need more than anything else right now. The disposable income in America, the median income in America, is down $2,300 for a family since the day that Barack Obama was inaugurated. Wow, I mean, think about that, $2,300. Now, for the wealthy, that's no big deal. That's a rounding error. For the middle class, $2,300 means determines whether or not your child might go to college. It could determine whether you can have a caregiver come for the weekends to take care of your elder mom who may have dementia. It could make it possible for someone to maybe work part-time to provide care for the children that they love with their heart and soul, but are forced to work full-time and not be able to do what they really want to do, which is to be with their children as they're growing up, and you want to nurture them. It could mean a ton of stuff, but it's a big deal. There was a survey that I read last week where 65% of Americans could not pay for a $500 car repair bill, and could not pay for a $1,000 emergency room visit. 65% of Americans. So are we going to turn the world upside down, hollow out the industrial core, create all these elite kind of objectives on top of working people right now that are struggling to deal with climate change? I say no. I believe that there's someone in a garage somewhere, could be here, right outside of Iowa City, at some Hawkeye graduate that's sticks around here, and he's finding or she's finding a way to create some disruption that lowers the cost of renewable energy. It could. I mean, history's replete of that too, isn't it?
We're doing it now.
Americans do this. This is what we do. This is how we roll. Ask Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. Ask George Mitchell, a Greek immigrant who had a private business and through trial and error took two existing technologies, hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, and applied them and through trial and error enhanced it and made it better and created a revolution. We have 10% reduction in carbon emissions in this country for one basic reason. We've had an explosion of natural gas use because George Mitchell and others that followed applied American solutions to this. It was in the free market without any government subsidies that this happened. It was allowing people to pursue their dreams that created the disruption, that created the possibilities. So I have total confidence that we will solve any problem. But I don't think what we ought to do is limit people's aspirations along the way.
So how are we going to get the other candidates then to come around to your idea that it's real and humans do have an impact?
I don't know. Look, I got problems with my own campaign. I'm not going to be a teacher for remediation for the other candidates. Everybody's got their views, and I'll let that play out as it will. I'll tell you, it's important to be at least sensitive to the fact that the climate's changing if you want to win the election. Right. This becomes an issue going forward, for sure. I mean, look, Steyer's group is doing advertising against me for what I just said. Like, come on, man. I don't know, I mean, I guess if you're a billionaire and you got a ton of money and you can play in the political game, you can say whatever you want. The simple fact is, there's a way to, it's not incompatible to advocate high sustained growth and a protection of the natural environment.